Hello, welcome to the Outlaw Tavern. I am Steve-O the Outlaw, and we are doing a legendary Lubu Records start guide. Now the aim of this is to show you how to lay a strong foundation for your campaign going forward. So Lubu's mechanics, he has momentum, and at full, you can see the buffs that momentum gives you. It's quite powerful. You gain more momentum by defeating enemy characters and armies with your faction leader, i.e. Lubu. He also has this personal victories mechanic, which gets added from defeating characters with the army. That also has some debuffs. And then he has this chaotic rule debuff, which is a constant debuff, which it provides -1 admin, plus 30% construction cost, and plus 20% corruption. Now that 20% corruption is important for how you play the campaign. Finally, he has this greatest warrior mechanic, which gives you buffs for defeating specific generals, and you get sets. Characters that are part of the greatest warrior mechanic have this icon, and they'll be marked as a greatest warrior target. Now this corruption debuff will really negatively impact your income throughout the campaign. The bigger you get, the bigger that will become. And as you can see, if paired with satisfaction low, that equals a 35% corruption debuff on the just on base. That's not including the creeping corruption you get for having a bigger empire. So if you can see or gain an ancillary that gives you minus corruption as playing as Lubu, is really important to try and offset that. But your income from buildings will be considerably less than other factions. Your main kind of source of income will be battle loot or diplomacy, vassals, mercenary contracts, things like that. Now Lubu starts with Chen, some of Ying Chuan, and the kind of history behind this is, while Cao Cao was away fighting Tao Chuan and the Liu Bei, some of the people Cao Cao left in charge kind of were turncoats, rebelled almost, and basically turned over these cities to Lubu. Now historically, Lubu loses this war and he flees to Liu Bei, but we're not playing historically for this campaign. We're going to be playing, let's say, alternative history where Lubu actually wins. Now first things first, the treasury, and this will be a constant feature throughout quite a bit of the campaign, is in the negative. So we're going to go to our court, get rid of some of the weaker officers. I like to keep unique guys around. And we're also going to make Lady Yan our heir. And that gets rid, as you can see, of the low satisfaction, because they're no longer in our faction. We can also get a trade agreement, which will give us some further income. No, it's actually in the plus. It's also worth checking out again these non-aggression packs, because sometimes, like now, you might be able to get some gold per turn. No, not with him. Can I get some money off of him though? Every little helps.
我方接受你的提议。
Now, if you follow the story, you go this way, really. So you get the set bonus for taking these out. But we're not following the story. So we want to try and keep hold of... We want to try and keep hold of Su Yang. So we're going to be bringing Lu Bu back. Here we're going to raise Zhang Liao.
准备出击。现在必须要休
Put
息
him。inside the city. And that's all for turn 1. So if you want to follow the story, you join the Ubei, and that creates a peace deal, and this war doesn't continue. You do become a vassal of the Ubei. We're going to continue fighting.
旧的不去
Now on turn
新
2,
的不来。
I lost my farm. That's put me into negative food.
我一人便可横扫千军。迅速出
You
击
want to！fight this army first because you can do a night battle and you get the reinforcements from the town. I would recommend fighting the battles personally to reduce losses in the early game especially. For the sake of this stream, I will be editing out the battles, but I will be fighting them myself.
攻无不克，战无不胜。
We lost quite a bit, but as you can see, not too much. And you really want to try and ensure that a whole unit doesn't get wiped, because then it's out of commission for 2 turns, and this can really, really slow you down. I have I'm overly attached to unique characters, so I rarely execute them. But if you can get more money for the ancillary than you can for releasing them, execute them to get money, unless you want to recruit them, that is.
放了他们，让他们牢记我的大
He's got
恩
this
大德。
brilliant trait, so if you can get him, definitely get him. This brilliant trait is one of the best traits in the game.
你我联手，必成大事。我也会饶你一命。
And this is what one of the other unique things about Lu Bu's faction. Instead of the recruit the captured troops, you can use this thing called maintain momentum. It still gives you replenishment, but it resets your movement points, and it locks your fatigue into tired. This never used to be a big problem, but with some morale changes they did with one of the patches, now being tired really negatively impacts your morale. So just be mindful of that and be careful when playing. Also, if you can, when the victory screen comes up, try and chase down and kill as many of the troops as you can, so in a future battle it'll be easier.
请下命令。
Plus you get more experience.
机不可失，时不再来。 不留活口！又赢了一次，放了这群废物。职责所在，旧的东西随风消散，拥抱新的机遇吧。
Now, I didn't say it in turn 1, but you want to recruit Zhang Liao and put him in Su Yang, and then bring Lu Bu down, but don't engage with the armies. So once you have taken care of this big army, you want to come and fight Cao Cao's army. And if you check his army out, he doesn't actually have any, other than the Cav, he doesn't have any real counter to Cav. And
恪守职责。
Lu Bu is a very Cav heavy faction. His Cav unit is good. The general unit is good. Lu
我
Bu
一
is a
人
beast.
便可
He's
横
level
扫千军。
He's level 9. And anyone who's played Dynasty Warriors knows what Lu Bu is about.
干掉敌军！
I'm gonna fight this personally to ensure the losses are low. Oh, we captured him. I'm gonna release him, but I would probably recommend to you to execute for these 2 items because they're awesome.
放了这群废物，
I'll maintain momentum.
请下命令。
Ranked up. So I'm gonna get trade agreements and 2 in admin. Because you have that -1, you need 2 to be able to get just 1 admin. Now usually you won't be able to get a trade agreement just yet, but when we start taking some of these territories, hopefully we'll be able to get some trade agreements. Now with this army, I'm going to recruit Cao Cao.
快点儿！
I'll send this army here.
行动如一。
And finish Cao Cao off.
凭此一战，可定天
Oh,
下
we。captured him again. He should really like us now.
要这些俘虏也没用，放了他们，让他们牢记我的大恩大德。夏天过去，秋天降临。
Now, if you do lose a lot of replenishment, and you only have like 2 bars of momentum, you can use this, which minuses your momentum by 2, but gives you plus 15% replenishment. Also, as you can see, it gives you minus 50% corruption, so in your main producing settlement it might be useful using that. Probably use Zhan Yu. I'm gonna put these in the council positions. It does negatively impact our income, but it means come spring we have access to the faction council, which is really
谨
useful.
遵命令。 讨平乱贼，
I'm
长
making our
兴
way
四
back
海。
up.
原地候
I'm
命。
hoping Jihai Yuan comes this way so we can capture him. So by the end of turn 2, you really want to have pushed all the enemies out of Chen, Suyang, so that's a free space, and then you want
正义
to
必胜。
kind of
我等
whichever
因设
target's
宴庆
nearer,
贺。
you want to be heading for one of these targets. Now, the reason I put him in ambush
一统天下。
was to ensure this army came down.
稍事休息。
Winter is not being kind on our supplies.
又赢了一次，放了这群废物。机不可失，时不再来。
Damn. This having more troops is a bit of a problem for us.
协力出击！
No.
你疯了吧？向前推进！
Ah, cool, we got it that turn. Now I'm gonna have to fight that manually in order to assure victory. It's really important that you win this battle, so do your best. You want to use your cav and night battle plus flame archers to win. Very important you win that. Sorts out your food problem.
心怀中正。
迅速出击！
Employ trip, come and take out. If there's an army left, take it out.
又赢了一次。你我联手，必成大事。我也会饶你一命。闻风而动，雷厉风行。
I'm going to retreat back into my territory.
这就去办。把他们全打趴下。
Ideally, by turn 3, you want to have Chen. Sometimes it's easier to come up to Chen Lu because you can use the momentum to get there. I couldn't get there in time this time.
不留活口。
Zhang Yu has his army. Wait, he has a treb still. I'm gonna make Zhang Yu the admin. You might not get him. Kind of messed up a little bit, and now that army's going to be taking some.
我的目标十分明确。
干掉他们！
Loss, but we're going to come take care of this rebel army.
我很满意。 放了他们，让他们牢记我的大恩大德。我吕奉先自是一方英雄。 凭此一战，可定天下。请下命令。
As I hold Hulao Pass, the only way this army can go is down this way. So I'm going to use that time to come up and take Yingchuan.
前进！
Sadly, because I wasn't paying too much attention to the food, my supplies, this is going to be taking a hit. Try and avoid that if you can. That was a mistake on my part. Because of the Imperial favor mechanic, you really want to be getting your food nipped in the bud as quick as possible, so that is not impacting your Imperial favor. Likewise, this here is a problem. Use Lady Yan to sort that out. Get this. I recommend getting regional levy because it gives plus 10 replen. They're useless. I'm going to use this just to further buff public. So if you really wanted to, you could peace out with Cao Cao now. But we're going to wipe him out. If you pieced out with him, it would open up other strategies that you could do. Maybe you wanted to take out Yuan Shu, Liu Biao, open the campaign up for you completely. This is why we... Attacking here is why we built this treb a few turns ago, because then you don't have to wait. You can attack it straight away. High casualties. I recommend fighting this. Sometimes he has an admin here, so the fight could be even harder. But one here, which really weakens their opportunities now. So they have here, and they have this one here, Yingchuan and Luoyang. Once we've taken care of this army, which fingers crossed will be on the next turn, we should be very close to wiping out Cao Cao. So turn 5, you should have Yingchuan, Chen, Ruyang. Plus 1 Imperial favor. Needs to go in the plus to start getting the Imperial favor bonuses.
稍事休息，一往无前。
杀光他们！
目标只有一个，目标明确。
干掉敌军！
Again, fight the battle. I'm going to delegate for time's sake.
大获全胜，毋庸置疑。放了这群废物，放了他们，让他们牢记我的大恩大德。
我变得更为真实了。
So you win this battle, then you've broken the back of Wei. You should be close to ranking up as well again. Spread them out to suit your personal playstyle.
又赢了一次。
Vassals are very important when you play Lubu. Sometimes it's worth, instead of beating an enemy down, to vassalize them. The problem is, if you do that with Cao Cao, an event happens and he'll take Zhu Chang off of you, so it's not worth it.
杀他们个片甲不留！把他们全打
Come
趴
over
下！
and attack that army there.
我军必胜！
With that settlement. So I didn't use my ancillaries. Ancillaries are range based, so use them how you can. Try and get the ones that buff satisfaction or corruption. You want to do this at the beginning.
大人有何打算？
悉听尊便。
Apologies, it only took me 6 turns to realise that. Oh, I messed that up. Come and attack Chen-Lu. See, this happens when you delegate. You end up losing full units, and now that army's considerably weakened for 2 turns. Luckily, we're not going straight into a fight. This here can be a bit dangerous because sometimes they employ another army. I'm going to wait here to be on the safe side.
一统天下。
You've got spare money, so opens up our options. Let's have Dao Chan.
千层波浪，充实巨岩。
闻风而动，
I'm going to
雷厉
upgrade
风
this
行。
because food is important.
智慧定线。
Liu Bei and Kong Rong invited me to join their coalition, and I accepted. These kind of things are down to your discretion, really. You might want to take out all these factions here and move that way. It all depends on where you want to go after I'll give you the foundation. Now, here's a pretty strong foundation. You could peace out with Cao Cao and do whatever you want now. You've got a strong base. You can attack whoever you like. And things will always be different in your campaign. But you really want to get Chen Yingchuan before you kind of make your next move. Being cautious here because I want to see what army they have.
该当如此。 坚如盾牌，势如利刃。
They can attack that in the next turn. Let's go into ambush so they can't see me.
拿起武器。众将听令，开战！干掉他们！ 不留活口！杀呀！
This is Cao Cao's last place, so once we take that,
绝不动摇。
we've wiped him out and
保
won
持
the
原样
war.
深谋远虑，全军出击！
Oh, he has a lot of cav. A lot of cav. Boy him, release him, occupy.
熊熊烈火，
All of that is
今
at
日
your
又可
discretion.
重燃。
But not there you go, 9 turns and you've wiped out Cao Cao, which is the initial war that you're involved in, and now you're kind of free to do whatever you want. Go for the extra oil because they're really useful. Do get story missions that continue doing stuff, and we're a year away from the Emperor coming of age. And there you have it, the alternative history where Lu Bu defeated Cao Cao and took control of the Central Plains. And now you see the Emperor's there. You can go and get him. If that's what you want to do, you can. Cao Cao won't be taking him anymore. That's probably what I would recommend doing. If that opportunity presents itself, you will have low Imperial favor, so there's a chance the Emperor will escape. But it's an option. You might have a completely different plan in mind. Just be mindful that when he does come of age, you will have low Imperial favour. That's why it's important to try and get some food to recover as much as you can. I'm not sure if that is a bug, but the Imperial favour that you accrue or lose before the Emperor comes of age does impact your game. So that really concludes my start guide. You have a strong foundation here, and you can pick and choose your battles or do whatever you like. Just be mindful that Lu Bu is an offensive faction, so you do really want to be fighting wars all the time, and it's very easy to accrue enough prestige to become Duke and King fairly quickly. Just on note on this personal victory, you see you can get 200% post-battle loot income for your main army, meaning you can really be rolling in money quite quickly. If you have any questions about the campaign, have any alternative ideas, please get in touch. I'd like to hear them. But until then, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Live free, die well.